our distinguished guests from the dais, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really honored to be here this evening because of Adiban. And let me just give you a little bit of a background of how I know this young man. As a matter of fact, we both come from Savagasi. I know him from his childhood days because his father and I were born on the same year. I'm also from Savagasi. And it just so happened that my wife, my late wife, and his late father, they were brothers and sisters. So I've known him from a young kid up to the day he left and then he went off to UK, etc. to study. But all through, he was one of those people looked at a person who was trying to achieve something in life. And that is where we, business-wise, his father did a lot of good in terms of matches, fireworks, etc. But that was not all. What he said was to look at other requirements because Sivakasi was something which lived on matches and fireworks at that time. And he said people should do something else. And what he did was he built a first stadium there for people to basically spend their time in activities, which was a good thing that he did. It was a beautiful stadium. And thereafter, marriages could not be held properly. He built a beautiful marriage hall. It is the best marriage hall that you can think of in Sivakasi. So these were the few things. But he did a number of things, and of course, he also was a very religious person, and he put up a temple, and he actually cultivated a variety of things into the family, and also decided to move out from just matches and fireworks to many things. I hardly lived there, but anyway, I was one of those who also came from that origin. And I was one of those who, like Adiban, had to leave Savakasi because my father was in government service and he was traveling from A to B. So he made me actually go to boarding school up in Dehradun, and then I did my college in Delhi. And it was something which is an exciting thing in life because I was one of those who was a very bad student, but I wanted to be an army officer. And I loved the army, and I got myself actually an introduction to the National Defense Academy at the age of 16. I passed my entrance exam. I was all called for the interview, but my mother unfortunately stopped me at that time. I would say not unfortunately at that time, but fortunately at this time. And I would have been a great army officer in the early days. But unfortunately, those people who joined the army in the National Defense Academy at 56, they were the commissioned officers after 4 or 6 years. And they were the first lot of people who were in the forefront when we had a very ill-equipped army. And they actually, most of the army officers of the second lieutenant category were wiped out by the Indo-Chinese War. And so it was more by accident that I became a chartered accountant. I was never asked to be a chartered accountant. I didn't know what chartered accountancy was. And it was during one of my career, when I was in St. Stephen's College in Delhi, my father rang me up one day and said, would you like to be a chartered accountant? I said, I don't know what it is. He said, okay, we'll tell you what it is. It's bookkeeping and things like that. So all this didn't attract my attention because I was a very good sportsman in those days. And basically, if sportsmen were paid like what they are paid today, I would have been a multimillionaire. But unfortunately, we didn't get any money. All that we wanted a free lunch so that we would enjoy a lovely afternoon. So having said this, it was a great effort on my part to basically think of doing this. So I asked my father, what is chartered accountant? Where is it? He said, it's in London. Immediately I said, I'm on. That is my attraction to go to London. So at the age of 19, actually, I was pushed off to London. I did my chartered accountancy and came back, which was, I was the first guy of Savakasi cadre to go. And all my relatives, because my father-in-law was Hayanada, who was his grandfather, and they all appreciated it. And when I came here, I literally started from scratch. And it was by accident that I joined the firm called Lovelock and Lewis, which many of you might have heard of. It is the oldest firm of chartered accountants which came into India. It came with the East India Company days. It is even older than the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales. And I started with absolutely nothing. And I ended up, this was in 1967, and I was there till 1990. I ended up as a senior partner, having established a total all India network. And we merged with Pricewaterhouse, and today they are the biggest in the country. So this is the sort of thing I think Adiban has also started doing. He started from scratch, and he's built up on the basis of what uh, computers was. I learned computers when I was small, in the days when TCS was the one who was in the forefront, 1401 and things of that nature. And I actually joined up with Pricewaterhouse internationally in order to expand that particular activity. And now, as all of you know, the computer age has gone from written age to virtual, and from the virtual age, you've got things which are completely beyond my territory because I can't really follow it. We have AI today, and everything is happening which we don't know. I always say you can't do a thing without being told or known. Then you have robotics. People are getting operated. And I had that day a friend of mine getting operated in Goa with a surgeon sitting in Canada, in Cambridge. So these are the sort of things our world is progressing. And this is where Adiban is actually keeping us in track. And these sort of things which are completely on the forefront. So with these few words, I would like to, to all of you, wish him a very successful journey in this particular activity. Thank you very much.